Immigration fraud is not unlike fraud in other benefit granting areas. It is fairly significant because it is a product that awards a rather significant benefit to individuals. But fraud would be considered a willful and material misrepresentation of a material fact. And what that means is misrepresenting a key area of eligibility that if you had not misrepresented, you would not be eligible for that benefit. With regard to the volume of fraud, if we concluded there was a 10% fraud rate in a particular area, say marriage fraud, and we receive approximately 400,000 marriage-based petitions a year, what we're saying is at least 40,000 of those are fraudulent in nature. One of the most common misunderstandings when it comes to determining the amount of fraud that exists among immigration-based applications and petitions is in the math. CIS receives about 6 to 7 million applications and petitions a year. So if one were to say there's a fraud rate of X percent of marriage petitions and X percent of fraud in employment-based petitions or asylum, you cannot extrapolate that percentage across the board against the 6 or 7 million because there are many applications and petitions in CIS that don't have alarming fraud rates. The principal types of petitions that we're talking about that have the double-digit rates that exceed 10 to 20% in some areas, perhaps even exceed 30 to 40% in others, do track back to more of the employment-based and asylum applications and petitions. Marriage obviously has a double-digit fraud rate, but it isn't what I would say an alarming fraud rate. It's below 20%. But the other fraud rates in specified areas is significantly higher. Now, in the general employment-based arena, that's also in the 10 to 15% area of fraud. But again, 10 to 15%, in my opinion, is pretty significant.